Sharing. Excellent. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I bet Jack will probably have some folks viewing this later, or maybe they're in a different time zone. But my name is Kevin Mahan. I am the Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Jensen Dental, and I am honored to be spending a few minutes with Jack Marrano, CDT from Absolute Dental Services and the Signature Lab down in North Carolina. Good afternoon, Jack. How are you?
Hey, I'm great, Kevin. How's it going?
It's good. We're only about 2.5 weeks away from Chicago, so we're in that the throes of getting ready and making sure everything's packed, and we've got the I's dotted and the T's crossed. So we're not getting a lot of sleep right now,
Right.
but we're excited to be there soon. And Jack, we're really excited to have you on our platform once again. You're a staple in the educational realm. Absolutely a staple in our world with MEO. And I thought we could talk a little bit about your lecture and maybe what you'd like folks to learn that will be in the audience. And we can talk about your demos a little bit. It's a non-polarizing title, Jack. It's traditional layering porcelain is dead. That probably won't invoke a lot of emotion in a lot of people, but why don't you talk to us about it?
Yeah, I was trying to make a definitely a pretty strong statement there, and really kind of draw a hard line in the sand. It's what I believe, it's what I teach, and it's what I see every day, and it's that was designed to invoke that emotion, but also the curiosity. Okay. So he says it is, show me, right? So easy to make statements. Now you got to go ahead and back it up. And that's what I plan and intend to do. Today, and I believe this in my heart. And that's just who I am. I think it's dead. There's no reason, absolutely no reason to open up a jar of powder. There's really not, and I've seen it and know how it works from a small scale to a large scale. So it doesn't matter your laboratory, whether you're a one-man operation or you're a 300-man operation, and it doesn't matter where your work falls in that scale. It's dead. It's exactly what the title says. Powdered porcelain is dead.
So, and I get that, right? Because we see the volume of monolithic in the market, and it isn't necessarily that the laboratory side has driven that, right? There's a lot of reasons for that with material advancements and things like that. But, talk to me about your journey, because you're a high-end technician, right? You have done a lot of layered cases. I know you don't now, but that was kind of where you got your start. So for anybody that's going to be attending your lecture or will be down at our booth during your demos, that are ceramists, that are die hard, what was the one thing that made you finally say, okay, I get it. As a ceramist, I need to change what I'm doing. And I'm using a different canvas now. It's a monolithic canvas. What was that one? I mean, was there one thing that made you finally take the step?
Yeah, there was. Well, I'm kind of interesting in the fact that I'm very progressive, and I was always chasing the next thing, right? The next evolution of what we do. And that started way back out early on, digital, early adopter, early pioneer of a lot of the processes that we see in place today. I've always been in prosthodontics, full arch, full mouth rehabs, and I've always had a way. So, as technicians, and technicians are brilliant at this one thing, is always overcomplicating something. And a lot of times we tend to believe that if we don't bleed at the end of the day and, need some type of blood, transfusion, then we didn't do a good job. Right. Or, how can we take this simple process and overcomplicate it? And it's just the way that I'm wired. And I'm not talking about shortcuts.
Mm.
Shortcuts in a lot of instances could have devastating impact or results because something was compromised along the process. Just better practices, more simpler. And I'm always chasing that. So the evolution kind of was through digital. And then it was a hardware issue, a software issue, a materials issue. There was always a shortcoming and something I was always trying to leap ahead on.
Mm.
And then once all of that came together, we still didn't have a support product. Everything was in place, but we had powdered ceramics, and it
Right.
didn't make sense. Powdered ceramics had been around for how long, and they hadn't evolved at all. I mean, at all. And you've seen different variations and iterations of a powdered ceramic, but at its core, it was exactly the same and unchanged for how many years?
Right.
And then you got Mio. So
Mhm.
I tell the story famously. The first time I ever seen Mio done, and it was exceptionally done, was Matt Roberts.
Ah,
I got a text and seen a picture, and it was just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And I asked him, I'm like, how did you do that? And he said it was Mio. That's it. I was hooked. And then, I said, this has to be the key. This got to be the support product that I've been waiting for to top everything off. Right. And I'm happy to say without a doubt that it is. And I couldn't see going back
Mm.
ever. There's nothing that I haven't been able to accomplish. I haven't given up anything in
Nice.
the process. And so just the way that I'm wired in my position and kind of role in the industry, it was kind of a obvious evolution for me. It wasn't one where I had to say no, where I was fighting the ceramist in me, right? Because I always
Okay.
believe there's a better way to do something. I don't have an ego. I'm always ready to learn and listen from anybody, because you could
Right.
learn something from every single person in the world that you come across that crosses your path. And so I think because that's who I am as a person, the jump and the crossover was really easy for me, but it
Okay.
may not be for a lot of other people.
Right. Right. Well, I appreciate that, and I remember that image years ago. I mean, you've been on the journey, the Mio journey,
Yep.
with us for I think 5 or 6 years. We're in our
Yeah.
sixth year now, which
Six
is
years. Yeah.
so hard to believe.
Yeah.
Continues to evolve. We continue to adapt, and that's a really exciting thing. And we're honored to have you on that on that journey with us.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun. It's going to continue to be a lot of fun, and I don't think it's any accident. Every signature is unique.
Yep.
And I know that the name of the laboratory within the lab is Signature. And I think it's your work. When I'm scrolling through social media and I'm looking at pictures, I immediately recognize your work. It's outstanding. It doesn't blend in. Well, it blends in with nature, but it doesn't blend in with a lot of what we see out there. It's spectacular. And I know that's captivated a lot of your peers, and they want to learn more about how you're doing that and where you do it and when and why. And we're excited. In fact, your lecture is Friday, February 24th at 9 a.m.
Yep.
It's completely sold out. It's going to be a packed room, but the good news is we have you at our booth, the
Yep.
Jensen Dental booth, at 4 o'clock on Friday doing demonstrations, and that's kind of a little more intimate, as crazy as it is, a little more
Yep.
intimate environment to talk to you and ask you questions. And also, again, we have you coming back on Saturday at 1 p.m. To do a demonstration as well. So I know everybody's excited to see it, Jack. We're excited and we're grateful that you're joining us this year. Any last words for those that are
Yeah.
listening today?
I think, of course, the lecture, we're going to have a blast. And please, if you have any problem with the statement that I made, come to the lecture on Friday. And I am going to, you know what? I'll go out. I'm going to bet somebody a beer at Big Bar that I could change your mind by the time you leave that room. And if you want, if I change your mind, I will help you with whatever you need on your journey. On the demos are something that are so close to my heart for that very reason. They're intimate. So you get to sit right next to me and we go through it together. And it's a very interactive kind of stage, I guess you would call it,
Yeah,
that we get to spend time together in a lot more closer of an atmosphere. And
awesome.
but I hope that if you don't believe me, then please come Friday morning, and I hope to change your mind by the time you leave the room.
I'm sure you will. And that throwdown with the beer at the big bar, I'm sure there's people already lining up at the door, Jack. So we better be careful.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of nervous.
I am too, but that's all
Yeah,
right. We'll do it together. It'll be
I'll be
fun.
able to
And
switch. I'll get you switched. Just think about
yeah,
it. I mean, look at your everyday life and all of the technology and the amazing advancements you have, and then tell me you're going to sit down and open up a jar of porcelain and add liquid to it. It just doesn't make sense.
just doesn't. No, love it. And you're kicking off our whole day of lectures Friday at 9 a.m. Again, we're really grateful and excited to be with you in Chicago. Get some sleep. We're all going to need it. And Jack, look forward to seeing you there. Have a safe trip, and we'll see you real soon.
Looking forward to it. I'll see you there. See you guys.
Excellent. Take care, everyone. Bye.